Now let's set the record straight. There's no argument over the choice between peace and war, but there's only one guaranteed way you can have peace, and you can have it in the next second. Surrender.
Surrender.
Admittedly, there's a risk in any course we follow other than this, but every lesson of history tells us that the greater risk lies in appeasement. And this is the specter our well-meaning liberal friends refuse to face, that their policy of accommodation is appeasement. And it gives no choice between peace and war, only between fight or surrender. If we continue to accommodate, continue to back and retreat, eventually we have to face the final demand, the ultimatum. And what then? When Nikita Khrushchev has told his people he knows what our answer will be. He has told them that we're retreating under the pressure of the Cold War, and someday, when the time comes to deliver the final ultimatum, our surrender will be voluntary, because by that time, we will have been weakened from within spiritually, morally, and economically. He believes this because from our side he's heard voices pleading for peace at any price, or better read than death, or as one commentator put it, he'd rather live on his knees than die on his feet. And therein lies the road to war, because those voices don't speak for the rest of us. You and I know and do not believe that life is so dear and peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery. If nothing in life is worth dying for, when did this begin? Just in the face of this enemy? Or should Moses have told the children of Israel to live in slavery under the Pharaohs? Should Christ have refused the cross? Should the patriots at Concord Bridge have thrown down their guns and refused to fire the shot heard round the world? The martyrs of history were not fools, and our honored dead who gave their lives to stop the advance of the Nazis didn't die in vain. Where then is the road to peace? Well, it's a simple answer after all. You and I have the courage to say to our enemies, there is a price we will not pay, there is a point beyond which they must not advance. Winston Churchill said the destiny of man is not measured by material computations. When great forces are on the move in the world, we learn they're spirits, not animals. He said there's something going on in time and space and beyond time and space, which, whether we like it or not, spells duty. You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness.
Been there, done that. All right, Uncle Reagan, how you been, man? He is. He definitely knows how to give a speech. I ain't gonna deny that. Jimmy, no, he's always been a fabulous speech giver. There's no denying that. Now, there's another one we're gonna play later in the show, but he can really lay out a speech. Well, it's Memorial Day. That's why we played that particular. He has actually quite a few good ones.
4th of July.
Yeah, I did say Memorial Day, didn't I? It's a 250. No, I always tell all my friends that live overseas, America likes to do one thing, and all Americans like to do one thing. We like to blow things up. That's why we have these holidays where we can blow things up.
Yeah.
So, you would think our enemies would learn. We like to blow things up. Leave us alone. Yeah. Don't give an excuse to blow things up, because we will.
Munitions have a use by date. So, I mean, at some point,
right, we got to blow something up.
We need to donate it to someone to blow it up, or we got to blow it up.
Yeah, so I guess we could give it to the Ukraine, but I mean, come on. It's what's it, Jimmy? No, I mean, really, Americans can't help. Look, I'm laying in bed last night. It's about 2:00, and I just got off the chat. I mean, off the flip side. Both my dogs are sound asleep, snoring. I hear boom. I was saying, what the hell? Something. No, it's a firework. It's a firework, man, and it's a big one. But I'm like, son of a bitch, we're under attack.
My neighborhood does a ton of fireworks, a lot of them stuff. Man. So I'm expecting that tonight.
So this neighborhood's weird. They got a lot of tourists here and a lot of wealthy people here, but they're either here or they're not. So either there's a massive amount of fireworks or there's none. It's always weird the way it happens. But
I found this unique fireworks shop. They're out of Ohio, but they buy directly from China, and then they sell to a lot of the fireworks stands that you see around the country and other stores. And so they're wholesale prices. So some of these 500-gram cakes that you get that are say $130, $150, for one setup like that, you can get a box of 3 or 4 of those for sometimes $80 to $90 or $120, and you're getting 3 to 4 times what you would get at one of those stands. So one year, my brother and I and a few other neighbors and whatnot, we all chipped in a bunch of money. I think we probably bought about $1,500 worth of fireworks, wholesale fireworks. Well, that was almost like a $10,000 show we were able to put on. I mean, it was really fun. It was neat. We were out there for like an hour and a half to shoot out fires because we had so many. We just couldn't shoot them off fast enough with 3 of us going like that.
Wow. Yeah, here in LA, I can get a sparkler.
Yeah, that's about all y'all can get too.
Fires,
but you're not the only one. Somebody else was just telling me yesterday. I don't know, somewhere on the East Coast, they can only get sparklers. I'm like, well, that sucks. They said, well, what can you get? I said, we can get quarter sticks. They're like, what? I said, yeah, we get quarter sticks. I said, they don't like to sell them anymore because too many of the rednecks like to use them for fishing. I said, so they kind of limit them. But Alabama, some of Alabama actually makes their own fireworks, but they have several big wholesale markets there that sell 7 days a week every year. I mean, you can go anytime you want to buy fireworks. And they're legal in Alabama to shoot all the time. But Alabama is one of those states that's always wet. Mississippi, they'll let you shoot them during the holidays. Louisiana, it just depends where you are. New Orleans frowns on fireworks. So look, we're going to do this massive fireworks show. Y'all do not need to blow up fireworks. People don't listen still.
I think, wasn't it a few years ago when San Diego had that accident with the fireworks? They were starting to light them off, and then they accidentally lit the entire wad all in one go. Yeah. Joy. It was spectacular for about a minute and a half that it lasted, and the whole show was over.
I did see something the other day that was kind of cool. It was a flying dragon made out of drones, but it had fireworks trailing it. So there was flames coming out of I guess they were making a phoenix, probably what they were trying to do. And but it was cool looking.
When I was way back when I was I guess I was high school, and I was visiting family in Kansas. We used to obviously throw lots of fireworks there, but used to take those Roman candles, because they go poof, poof. And we used to play cowboys and have shootouts with them, form and shoot them each other. And you have to dodge them and stuff like that. So that was fun. All kinds of.
Frankly, I don't know how more kids ain't lost than I.
You know those big tubes from Christmas wrapping paper, right? Yeah. Those big those tubes. So we would take those tubes, and then we would take a bottle rocket, light it, and put it in the tube and let it shoot out like a little bazooka. When we were growing up, I mean that was a lot of fun.
I'm telling you, it's amazing to me more people get hurt from fire. So I remember we used to have the bottle rocket wars, and then one day we went to the bottle rocket place. The Roman candle wars. One day we went in, the guy said, "Oh, we have 100-shot Roman candles now." We're like, "What? 100-shot?" So we get one in each hand, flame covering your arm, just ringing.
Yeah, mine were there 10 or 15, but still, it was a lot of fun.
Oh, they were great.
I only had a black cat blow up once on my hand once. It felt like a rat trap hitting my finger, but that's what the equivalent to, because I've had mouse traps and rat traps snap on me. So
John actually got lucky, guys. So growing up as a kid, most of the black cat fireworks say 77, 80, you can lose a finger.
Yeah,
they can blow a damn finger off. The new ones can't. The new ones will hurt like shit, but the new ones won't blow a finger off. They're actually deliberately changed. The new ones are even louder, but they're not as powerful of a pop. And that's because, every now and then someone will blow.
Which is good.
It's a good thing. It's not bad. And then they made the M80s and the new quarter sticks. They're like fake things, but I mean, you can still get the real quarter sticks now. Man, you can blow the hell out of anything you want.
Yeah, we used to put the M80s. This is because I haven't done fireworks for so many years, but I'm that pre-period. You put them under buckets.
Oh yeah,
and then shoot the bucket up.
Yeah, because back then it was a real M80. You actually had. So no, Gene. So what I'm talking about is the M80 is about this big. Right? So in there, and the ones John's talking about, it was full of gunpowder, and the ones we're talking about, it had a little red capsule inside of it full of gunpowder, packed with some kind of wadding or something. It's much different today. Well, because we've learned that, humans are, how can I say this politely, idiots, and we blow stuff up. We just got you said we like to blow stuff up. Yep. Occasionally we blow ourselves up. So it's
yeah.
Oh no, dude, I burned my house down with that. I had it's one of them triple shot, one shoot way up in the sky. Well, something hit it and it knocked, and when it did, it shot down in between my house and my porch. Thank God I had the hose out. I knew something was going to happen. I had the hose. I could see it was smoke and shit. Something. I'm like,
I always thought they were fun to fish with, though, because my uncles and my dad would tell me stories when they were younger, and they would use those quarter sticks or MAs and light them off in a way that it. You just light. They make it work so they could sink. They could drop them in a lake.
Yeah,
or something
so you could. So they were kind of heavier back then, so you could light them and just toss them, and they would sink about 6 inches of water, and they would pop. Anything within like 10 feet of it, it would stun, and they just float to the top, and you just pick them up.
They grab them with nets and stuff like that, and fry them up.
No, actually, Gene, it didn't kill all of them. It killed the ones real close, but most of them are just stunned. They would wake up like, "Oh, I'm dinner. What the hell just happened here?" It's
so this is good material you can use to write your stories on the author's quill here. So then, so James, you're an author that writes some of the scariest stuff for me with your near future science fiction. And what's crazy is there was a book that came out last year, If Anyone Builds It, Then We All Die, which is about the super AI. And then what you did there in the whole thing, we're seeing more and more now of what you wrote about 5 years ago, whenever the first book came out.
Yeah.
We talked about it a couple of times on my podcast.
Yeah.
It's just, it's quite scary because people are so dumbed down, because we talked about before we started the show, just how people don't know stuff. They're not taught stuff anymore in school because of all the liberal education. They don't learn the basics of civics and finance. And so so when you see what you're doing there, and people are living on the social media and they believe what they see, and you can't tell, until the checks and balances really go into that, you can't tell what's deep fake.
Yep.
And it's like, you see the stuff that's being done on Trump, which is what you did there in your book. That's what was done to start World War III. You had the current president then was the deep fake was taking it and making him look and say different things than he actually said. It starts wars. Yeah.
Well, and you're going to have AI fighting the wars for us. Like the whole Monroe Doctrine series was based on the premise of you have a super AI who's essentially using, it's living vicariously through the army of China in this case. And so it's wargaming all the scenarios and engagements between this brigade or battalion versus the U.S. And so it's able to direct the commanders and the units what to do, when to do, timings, fires, all kinds of stuff like that. And it's AI battle management, essentially. And so what's crazy is we are really seeing that happen now, because you have, in the case of Ukraine, a lot of people don't necessarily understand this or know this. Ukrainians, their whole architecture is on the backbone of Palantir and Shield AI and a few other American tech companies. So we're able to test the platforms, test the systems, see how it all works on a real world battlefield like that. Same thing with the Iranian campaign. You're able to have the AI design the target packages for you. So I want to destroy their ability to make ballistic missiles or et cetera, et cetera. Well, it will go down to the nth degree, all the layers in the chain, the kill chain, you have to destroy and take out to cripple this production. And that's not just saying, the factory. It's saying all the components that have to be built to go into that factory to then make the end product. That's the true destruction that they were leveling against there, because when they went in, there's some videos out there where they've done some analysis of images, entire industrial parks just gone.
That's what I was going to say, James. So yesterday we featured a story on this. Actually, we featured two stories on this. So the Ukrainians launched 500 drones the other day. wiped out 13 power plants and one fuel station, one pumping fuel station. Basically, they wiped out oil fields. Is what they did.
Yeah, it's crazy. The Russians at this point are still not getting their own drone defenses and countermeasures.
Oh, they've got them in Moscow. They just don't. Their problem is they've got a country that's like, and they've only got X amount of resources. It's not like America. We got resources at the yin yang. It's they have a hard time. So right now, he pulled all his stuff off the line in the Ukraine and brought it to Moscow to help with Moscow's defense because they were hitting targets there pretty regularly.
I'm kind of surprised that we haven't seen, honestly, China get more involved in supplying military aid and equipment, because on their side, what better opportunity to be able to hone your equipment against U.S. and Western equipment? I mean, this is a brilliant test platform for them to be able to get that data.
Yeah, China
information.
I think China feels that Moscow can't be trusted and might sell some to the U.S. You know, and this is people make a point. The F-22, the United States will not give to any ally, not even the Brits.
We can't even
build anymore. Off limits, yeah, it's off limits. And even if Lockheed said blueprints, but they took down the whole plan. They could put it back, but there's no need to because we have the F-47 now, and it is not going to go to any allies.
No, I don't think we're going to sell that one either.
No, the tech is too. The tech is too. People don't understand the reason we didn't sell the F-22 is because it's got that brain control thing in it, so you don't have to have a joystick. We're not letting nobody get that technology. It gives you too big of an advantage. And the F-47
is a huge beast. I mean, a lot of people are talking trash about it before, but they don't understand. Like in Iran, like the F-35 dismantled the Iranian air defense, and that was a hodgepodge of Russian and Chinese air defenses. Just obliterate. Same thing in Venezuela.
Gene, okay, let me real quick. We don't want to get into this too deep, but the reason the F-22 is not our fighter jet of choice, one, the damn thing is expensive.
I think it was the Iraq War. Honestly, the budget went away.
Yeah, and frankly, it is so advanced. If we lost one by accident, it could advance another army's military quite significant. There are things on that plane we haven't even put into the F-35 yet. They're going into the F-47. It's just the plane is seriously advanced. And when you listen to the pilots talk about it, it sounds like something out of the future, like what James is writing about. It does sound like. And then when you hear the F-47, we featured it the other day. Some people, it's got stealth plus, they call it. You know what the second plus is for? It actually can physically go invisible. It has a reflection shield around the whole entire plane.
It's like a fiber optic mesh almost that they do. And so whatever you see on the opposite side, it mimics it.
Yeah, so you can't see it because it's got like they said the radar diameter of this thing is like a quarter or something. It's like somebody's throwing a rock in it. That radar will even pick it up.
I've been told, I don't know if it's been verified yet, but I've been told by someone that I trust and know because of the people he worked with, that the F-47 has an onboard direct energy weapon capability. Yeah. But a lot of people think it's an offensive weapon. It's actually not. It's a defensive weapon. So when a missile is fired at it, when it comes into the certain range, the directed energy weapon then is used to zap that missile that's coming at it, or be able to hit, keep the laser on it long enough to burn, because they need a few seconds to be on there to actually zap it. And so the onboard, direct energy weapon, it's not, they're going to use it against other aircraft and stuff. The laser tech isn't there for that, but it 100% is there as a defensive suite. And so that's going to make that thing almost impregnable to take out.
And one of the reasons they do that is it allows them to keep their other missiles from blowing stuff up. You got to remember, Jack, anytime is an incoming missile, if we use a missile to take out a missile, that's one less plane we can shoot down because we just wasted that missile saving our ass. So the problem here is with the energy weapon, it can take the incoming missiles out. As long as it catches them way out, it'll take a several out before it gets to you. So that allows you to use your packages, because God knows the things we put in aircraft these days, to take out more. So right now, the F-35 can kill from 20 miles outside of any other airplane's range to see them. So in other words, people, we have stealth missiles now. So we can launch a missile before they can see us. By the time they see us, the missile is almost to their plane. If they do manage to do a countermeasure, by that point it's too late, because now we're on top of their plane. So if that first missile didn't get them, the second one surely did. It's a no. There's nothing.
Well,
like
it's neat too, because so when you have the F-35, he's out there. You could have a global hawk, or you can have one of the wedge tails, and they can see hundreds of miles further than the F-35. So what happens is they'll identify the target. The target may be 100 or even 200 miles away from the F-35. So he doesn't necessarily see it to lock on yet. But what he can do is he can fire the missile. And then the wedge tail or one of the global hawks can take control of that missile and feed it the targeting data to get it out to the other end of the target. And that's where it's going to be slick, because the Air Force just put out a requirement for a new missile capability. I think it's in like the early 2030s, 2034, something like that. And they want to try and see if they can't get a missile up to 1,000 miles out, which is pretty astronomical. So you'd have to have an air-breathing air-to-air missile to do something like that. But if they can make something like that work, that's going to be pretty incredible.
Well, so the new so the F-22 can go about 500 miles per mile. So can the 35, but the F-47 can do more than 1,000 miles on one tank of gas.
Yeah.
That, people, by the way, that's unheard of. 500 is really good, people. 1,000 is like, holy moly.
They need to. The Pacific's they're building the F-47 for the Pacific, and you have to with the airfields and the distances out there.
Kurt, Kurt, the same thing that keeps us safe from most wars coming here is the thing that's a challenge for us to go out and reach our Pacific's a big ocean.
Yeah.
It is a big ocean, and you got to cross. And we're not always just going straight across. Sometimes we're going down to the Middle East or somewhere else. Oh no! It's the longest I've ever been on an airplane was 26.5 hours. Refueled twice in an area. We were going somewhere we had to work on. It's probably still classified, but anyway, we had to go somewhere to work on some jets that were down by an EMP pulse. No, nobody would tell us what happened. I couldn't get anybody to tell me. But like, so what happened? Down to the pilot. He's like, it was the EMP pulse. I said, from what? We got near a nuke. Oh no, we got curtains for nukes, Joe. You know that. You install them. I'm like, okay, well, what was it? And that was all I got. That was it. There was nothing else. Nobody I asked. I'm like, well, you took out, and these were state of the art back, and these were F-18s brand new. I'm like, what the hell took these things out? And it messed them up. Maybe replace all the forwards.
Some sort of EMP weapon or something like that. Who knows?
Yeah, it was somebody testing something, and more than likely it was ours. I hate to say it. I would bet, because of where we were, I would bet you that it was something we were testing.
Better us than someone else.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, you remember when Brock was president, he sent that ambassador to Cuba, and they used that.
Oh yeah.
It busted his eardrums, killed one of them, made somebody sick. I was like, so
sonic,
those kind of
weapon things they used.
Weapons,
those are interesting too. I heard that they used something like that in the Venezuela raid.
Yeah, they did
on something like that, because
actually
the guards just got disabled before Delta went in, and they said those Delta dudes, like, they went in and they were running and gunning the entire time.
So one of the guys said it sounded like it's something out of Vietnam because they were playing music. In the music or under the music, there was some kind of sonic wave. I heard 4 or 5 people talk about it. It was knocking people on the ground. It was making them dizzy. It's making them walk. So it made a couple of them act real crazy and stuff. So it even killed a couple of them. So I don't know what they were using. I've heard about sonic waves for like dispersal of crowds in LA and places like that. They were thinking about using them, but judging from what happened here, thank God they didn't use them in LA. Jesus, they'd have killed half the people out there. Trump would have never got over that.
Now, one thing too, which I was excited about having James and then getting Toni on next, is this is Independence Day. So I also put together some questions that I wanted to just ask, and then people that respond, people that get the questions right, you can send them in to Joe, or however we want to do this, Joe. Then I've got 5 books to send to winners. However you decide is the best way to do that.
Listen, let's use the UPR and radio at gmail.com.
Okay, good.
Well, because the iCar email is really busy these days, and it moves so much that I'll have to scroll all day to find it. So send it to UPR and radio at gmail.com.
Good. So the first question here is, when did Congress vote for independence? So the month, day, and year. So when did Congress vote for independence?
For me, I think I know that one. I think it was It was, I believe it was actually July 2nd, wasn't it? 17.
So you get a book, James. You get a book. All right.
Shh, Jimmy answer no question, James. Those are for the audience.
Yeah, so it was so Congress voted for independence 2 days before they actually adopted the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah. I posted something about that on my Facebook page. That's the only reason I know that question right there.
Okay, then here's the next question that can be done is, so how many men signed the Declaration? How many delegates, how many men signed the Declaration? And granted, they actually did this risking their lives to be able to sign this, because they were definitely treasonous to Great Britain, to the United Kingdom. So how many delegates to the Second Continental Congress signed from all 13 countries? How many delegates signed the Declaration?
Yeah, I don't remember. I hate to say that. I'm thinking about it going.
I'm glad that's for the audience there, because I don't remember that.
No, it's for the audience, but I'm just trying to remember it.
I just know that Ben Franklin, I believe, was the one who signed it, one of the largest ones, signatures.
Yeah.
He had the most lose, and he's one I believe firmly in this thing.
And then actually, Alexander Hamilton initially opposed the Bill of Rights. He was a Federalist.
Yeah.
And so he argued that a Bill of Rights was unnecessary and potentially dangerous. The Constitution already limited government power, and he feared that listing rights could weaken rights that were not listed. And it's interesting because that was the whole thing of the Constitution was limiting federal rights. Let's not have a strong, where the central government controls everything.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate. That's what's become now the difference between the right and the left is the Republicans are more like that. The not having the strong that controls everything.
Yeah.
And
they want the states to decide it, really, because if you think about it, 50 states, it's 50 experiments in government in all 50. And so if you like one version, you move and you stay there. And if you like the other version, you're free to move about the country. And that's the beauty of the entire system we have. It only becomes dangerous when one state or system co-opts the whole country. And that's what happened with that's why they overturned the EPA regulation on the Clean Air Act, because they had California putting their standards, ended up becoming the standard that had to be applied across the entire country. And it was done through a legal ruling instead of Congress actually imposing and making that ruling, because it's electable by the people, and courts aren't. And so the courts shouldn't be legislating like that.
Right. So anyway, so then the question on the floor still is, how many men signed the Declaration?
Yankee Food signed the Declaration. Why'd you send me it, Mark? I've seen that come up on my messenger.
Is anyone in the chats popping it in there?
I just saw somebody. They're just sending me stupid stuff on my messenger. It's like, they're all on crack today. I know what it is. Y'all been out in the sun, getting a little delusional now. Had a couple of shots, a couple of beers. You people are drunk, aren't y'all? I've seen some messages that suggest, somebody is overly happy on the 4th of July. Oh, yeah, here's one for you, Jim. Yeah, there you go. Oh no! See, earlier, Herbert said earlier about we like to blow stuff up. See, it was fading sound effects, so I can blow stuff up. People, right? I can see both emails. No, I can see my iCard email because I got it up for something else.
Okay. I don't know if I want to say it, but
you lazy people.
We'll let the others say it. I figured out the answer, but I'm
getting some of the goofiest these people. I'm not keep reading these doofus emails y'all are sending me. Who are y'all all at the same party or something? What the hell's going on here?
I think it's somewhere in the 50s. If I was.
Yeah. That's a good hint.
Chantel is in New York City, and she says she don't know how many they were. She's just glad they did. And happy, I can't say exactly how she said happy 4th of July, but
so how many?
4th of July.
What was your other question? You got 5 of them, so we're down to 2.
Yeah. So then the other question is, which president fully paid the U.S. national debt?
Oh, you know what? I just heard this the other day. What the?
And it's the only president to ever have paid down the national debt.
Shame me.
Oh, the only president paid down national debt?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily true, though. Is it? We know Bill Clinton did a lot, but if you look, Eisenhower did a ton too. Eisenhower and then Kennedy both, because you look at the debt during World War II, and then you see it completely go down and get paid off. And ironically, they paid it off through actually inflating the dollar, and we're able to diminish the debt that way. And I think that's actually what they're looking to do right now to bring our own debt under control, is inflating the dollar, which means it's gonna be a little rough for the next 10 years.
Hold on, Kelly.
The next couple decades.
Kelly
But
Kelly
what do you do? You
Carlson.
have $40 trillion. I mean,
I know. That's
and we
great.
bring it's not a
So
spending
Kelly,
problem.
all right,
It's not
who's
a
got the
problem.
answer for this? Who got the answer for this? Kelly Clarkson says she is.
Bill Clinton's probably. It's probably going to cite Bill Clinton, I think. But
And she's from Napa Valley, California, and she says it's 56.
That's correct.
yeah,
She got it right.
You'll get a book then. Okay. Yeah, I get your name written. I
She
just
just
written
sent you the address, and we'll send her a book. And so the president that fully paid the U.S. national debt. We seem to have some.
Now we
confidence.
had him on the news on the flip side the other night. So that I don't even know why that came up in the news. Oh, that's why we were talking about Bill Clinton, and somebody said, "Well, no, Bill paid off the whole debt." I said, "No, I don't think Bill did pay off the whole debt. Just part of it.
We got
A
a balanced
lot
budget.
of it. Yeah, and that's what he really did was balance budget. But he paid it down. But
What I get, at least on the sites I went to, it's Jackson. He paid off the national debt in 1835, the only time in USA history. So there might be some disgruntlement here, but this is what, at least the site I went to said it was Jackson there in 1835.
Yeah.
let's see, did we get anybody who say that? Glenda, that wasn't even a president. What country are you in? This is America, people. This is the game shop.
Yeah, President Jackson. You know Andrew Jackson?
No, she's
He's the
got
founder
some
of the
name.
Democrat Party. I mean,
This looks like an Argentinian president, actually. So I'm thinking she's somewhere else. Oh wait,
What was the next? We're on question 4 now.
Who wrote Jackson? Now I got to see if you wrote Jackson before or after John said it. Okay, you're good. Yeah. Michael, where are you from? Though, real quick, just type it in. No, you don't have to. You can send the address to the thing, but where are you located? I'm just curious. People, y'all need to include your location. You know what I want to know.
Where do you see all these?
Oh, this is my messenger box.
Oh,
Miami, Florida. Okay, sorry. Yeah. How you liking it down? It's nice. It's hot as hell, man.
yeah, it's hot as hell. I'm in Tampa. It's pretty
Yeah,
hot.
see, he knows. Yeah. No, I'm not this far south of y'all. I'm on the coast. I'm on the Gulf Coast. I'm above New Orleans, actually. So I live right on the Gulf. Though. It's not like this. The Gulf is in my yard. Yes, no, literally, it's in my yard. So it's Mohali Bayou and the Gulf and Bay St. Louis all merge in my freaking yard. Yeah, so when it floods, like just last week, you can go see this picture on Facebook. The Gulf is in my yard. It's in the yard.
How many of you guys? Let me ask you this question: how many of you guys actually know or have heard about these new? Like, some people call them Trump accounts, but they're basically a special investment vehicle account that they've made for kids.
Yeah,
I just learned about this a couple of weeks ago. But here's the deal with this thing: if your kid was born between, I think it's January 1st of 2025, all the way up until I think it's January 20th of 2029, then the Treasury will put $1,000 into your kids. Essentially, it's like an IRA.
Yeah.
And it goes into an S&P 500 index fund. And people can contribute, like your family, employers, anyone can contribute money into this thing. I think it's up to $5,000 a year. And it basically can just continue to grow. And the only way that this thing is accessible or can be used without penalties, after they're 18, is for education or as down payment for a home. And so that was a unique thing. Now, the other kicker part about this, though, is Michael Dell, founder of Dell Computers, him and his wife, apparently, they donated, I think it was $5.6 billion. And they donated enough money that they will deposit $250 into up to 25 million of these accounts for kids. And so if your kid was born January 1st of 2015 up to January of 2025, they qualify for the Dell Dell grant, basically. And so I didn't know about this, but 2 of my kids apparently qualify for that. My third one's too old. So we're going to set up these accounts because it's, $250 free money. And then
I
put
didn't.
$25 or $50 a month into it and let it just grow for the kids. But that's a really neat idea they're doing there, because that compounds over time. And this is one of those ways that the government and some of these other individuals who are donating some of their own money and wealth can actually help future generations not have to go through some of that struggle or deal with some of the financial hardships that I guess Gen X and everyone else is dealing with.
At least help you get into college or get a house. Now, I've had about 5 friends do the Trump thing. I didn't know about Adele. I will let them know.
Yeah, because the Adele one adds $250 to that too. So like even the people who qualified for the $1,000 one, they also get that $250 in addition too. And now that money could actually increase up if more wealthy people decide to donate money into there. Like, I would love nothing more than to see people like Warren Buffett's like, I'm going to give away all my money. A bunch of people just give it away to charities. The charity NGO stuff, there's so much grift and waste inside that stuff, because he's paying a lot of salaries to people. But if you were to put these monies into something like this, you could actually really make an impact for the tens of millions of kids who will be getting these things.
I'm a Biden's put up an extra 1,000.
I imagine if Elon Musk did that. He says, hey, you know what?
He might.
Sovereign wealth fund that the U.S. has, that they're kind of like getting this thing going. I think that's a brilliant idea too, because it's one way to help shore up, Social Security and Medicare, different things like that. Is doing that. Is if he was to donate, percentage of SpaceX, percentage of SpaceX equity or something into this sovereign wealth fund. I think Sam Altman said from OpenAI, he's trying to work with the other AI companies to actually contribute 5% equity of OpenAI, ChatGPT, basically, and trying to convince Claude and Google and these other places to do that too. That would be brilliant.
So, as a near now sci-fi writer, you should be wondering where AI is going to end up. Is it going to be allowed to plume like we want it to, or is it going to be stopped because of places that don't want these high-end, high-powered power stations?
It's going to get fixed. A lot of this is getting fixed really soon here. So I don't know if you've seen what SpaceX has been doing. They are building their factory they have out in Nevada right now, the big gigafactory that's making the batteries and the semi trucks. They're making another factory that's the same size or bigger for microchips. They're partnering with NVIDIA and some other places to make their own high-end chips. But the chips they're making, they're not actually going to be used here on Earth. They're not bound for here. They're going to be used in space. And so they're wanting to put these data centers up in space where you don't have to deal with the issues you're talking about with the high power stuff, the noise, all the stuff that goes in there. You'll have them up there. And the thing is, like, putting them up there, they're not wildly expensive to go up to put these things up there. So they keep them at a certain orbit. And then over time, I think it lasts 2 or 3 years, they start to come down and then they burn up in the atmosphere because they're not big. You're talking smaller devices here, so they'll burn up. But the key thing is, by doing it that way, you're just putting new ones up to replace them or expand the capacity. You're not having this problem where you have it on Earth drawing massive amounts of data, power, water, everything else that's there, because you have it up in orbit where it's able to get all of the sun's energy on one side. You have heat dispensers on the other side. It's a brilliant solution to a real world problem we have here. And this is how you keep it going. This is how you prevent it from getting stalled because of these environmental concerns and everyone else that's anti-AI or whatever.
Well,
you can't
the biggest concern is the environment, but it's not really the biggest concern. The biggest concern is it drives up fuel prices because they're using so much electricity. It's driving everybody's prices up. So in Mississippi, he built
because we didn't put enough nuclear in.
That's what I'm saying. The reason they came to Mississippi and Louisiana is we have nuclear plants.
Yeah.
And so he built a big gigacenter.
Well, they're trying to do it here in Florida because honestly, we're one of the few states that solar makes sense. Okay, unless you're if you're below I-40, really below I-10, you're awesome for solar because we just have so much sun. We have 330 days a year of sunlight. So it's ideal for that. But solar up north, where you don't have as much sun, it's a lot more cloudy, it's not as effective. So we have that going on here in Florida because of that too. But you're, who is it? Ocol, and there's a couple other smaller startups that are doing these modular nuclear reactors. It's basically a nuclear reactor that you would have on a submarine or carrier, is essentially that kind of model. But they'll be able to fit these things essentially into a size of a semi truck. That's really going to be the future, because some of these companies are putting these reactors on the base themselves. They're never touching the grid.
But I'm going to tell you why that's not going to happen, because we've tried this already. So way back in the 40s and 50s, our aircraft were going to be nuclear powered, not jet fuel powered, but nuclear powered. So Stanton Friedman, who was a good friend of mine and a nuclear physicist, we talked about this quite a bit. He actually worked on the project to build these nuclear engines. They worked perfectly. You could one little rod could do a plane like a 747 for up to 10 years. Yeah. So but the problem was it turns every area into a potential dirty bomb. In a terrorist society, it turns it into a potential. So people started realizing we're going to know where the power is. And then they said, oh, no, we can't be. See, the thing for them wasn't how many times would it happen. It just only had to happen one time. Once. And they knew it was going to happen one time. So a while ago, about in 1990, when they started working with coefficient, they said, okay, we're going to build these semi trucks and put these reactors inside them. Well,
yeah, but I don't think they're going to be in a truck per se. They can be about the size of a truck. Is what I mean.
But all that changed all that changed because of one thing: helium-3. Helium-3 is not radioactive. It will not harm you.
It's all over the moon,
and it can run cold fusion. So now we have an energy supply that can do the power we want here on Earth. And so what they're talking about is you're going to get a ball about this big. It's going to fit in your house. It's going to fit in your car. It's going to fit in your truck. It's going to fit in your boat. So if you want just to keep the one, you don't be cheapskate, just have one for all of them. But they're saying you're going to get 5,000 to 10,000 years of life out of one. So you buy 3 of them and you power anything you want, anytime you want, anywhere you want to go.
Yeah,
it's definitely a revolution. And I did see the new cars designs where there's no steering wheels at all, and the seats are backward facing now. Not facing out the windows.
Robotaxi, cool like that.
Google's got this one that looks like a stretched out UFO, like somebody made a saucer and just kind of stretched it out a little bit, and it's got these doors. It's got gull-wing doors on it, which is a little weird. It's weird looking, but hey,
But here in Hollywood, Los Angeles, probably like every 30th car is one of those robo cars.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's just all over the place here.
Yeah. It's kind of neat, but what else is going to be really neat too? And I'm telling you, Tesla's just got some of the really neat tech and things that are coming online here, because one of the big ones is the Optimus 3 robots that they've been working on. And so a lot of people talk about how it's going to take different jobs, things like that. But they're not seeing, though, is the other state that this is going to be used in. Okay, so in my Into the Stars, the first sci-fi book we wrote for that series, one of the things that I specifically wrote about and was being used was that robots. And essentially, when they can go up into space, they get up into orbit up here, okay? And you start building your infrastructure up there, station, start building your shipyards, material, warehouses for parts coming in from, the mining operations. It's these robots that are going to be doing that construction. Because if you have a small cadre of these Optimus 3 robots, and you've trained them how to do whatever types of jobs and functions they need them to do, they can be out in that vacuum of space working for days. The only constraint they're going to come into is battery. And so you build the battery charging, network out there. They can plug in to recharge, or you make it so their battery can be, popped out and a new one popped in. And then these guys go back out there and they can continue to build your whatever you have them building, whether it's a station to build more housing for the human workers that are going to be up there, or ships themselves.
So James, I'm going to bring you on one of the other shows so you and I can talk about this, because we get into this stuff in way too much detail for this show.
Yeah, you guys are like, I'm just kind of like.
So
Oh, it's so neat.
So
It's so
Elon
neat.
put out. Well, we just carried one of Elon's new plans the other day. So
Yeah.
he decided he's gonna make some of these robots so they can fold up, so he can stick like 3,000 of them into a ship at a time.
Well, they're going to
Ship
go to
to-
Mars.
That's
The
where they're
first-
going.
Yeah, the first couple ones go to the moon and the Mars
So
and
he
build the
said
base.
he wants
Yeah.
to send 5 shiploads of robots and 5 shiploads of material. And let them get started. He said by the time a human shows up there,
It'd
we'll
be
have
built.
liquid water, we'll have fuel. If
Yep.
we want to come back, we'll be able to, but we'll have a habitat, and they'll have already
Mm-hmm.
scouted out the underground facility and started prepping it.
Yep.
He said that's the way to go to Mars.
It
He ain't
absolutely
sending,
is.
yeah, he said sending humans first is stupid. He said we're fragile, we're going to get killed. He said
Yep.
let's do it. This.
Yep.
He's right. But you know what?
I just need to find that rock where you put your hand, and then it handles all the atmosphere of Mars.
No, yeah. Well, if they find out, we're all going to be happy. It's but Elon, I said from day one when I first heard him speak at PayPal about Mars, I'm thinking this guy's whole life is going to be about going to Mars. Everything he does, every company he commits, everything
If
is
you
to
look
go
at
to
his-
Mars.
all of his companies are built to sustain and fund Mars and the moon operations out there. Because look at Starlink. It's a cash cow to bring in money. And once they start hooking up Starlink to phones, they're going to wipe out
Starlink's
the
going to be insane.
telecoms.
Yeah, Starlink's
But
going to be insane.
that funds your effort. And then you've got so you got that there. You got the starships, which will be able to carry up the massive amounts of materials and stuff. And so you're going to be able to get your operations on the moon and Mars going, and then the robots are building most of it. And once you can get that infrastructure up there going, now you can start going out to some of the asteroid fields out there, or try to harness some of these asteroids or comets that come into close orbit to the Mars or moon, and you can start mining the hell out of these things. And if you can get one of them, the ideal thing is you get some of them and move them into either Mars orbit or into Earth's orbit, and now you can mine the hell out of this thing where it's relatively close to us.
So
That's huge.
So what if I remember this plan correctly? Just something else we carried just recently. The goal is the first one they want to go to. They once there's an established robot colony on Mars, they're going to send a scout craft. Basically, they want to go stake a claim on that asteroid out there that's worth more than our planet 100 times over.
Yeah.
So he said what's going to go on. He said we're going to get there first. He said X will be the first one. He said it's going to be just like it was in the world. We're going to start staking claims, and those are ours.
That's it, because that was a series that Hubbard wrote back in the 40s called The Conquest of Space.
Yeah.
And it basically governments had totally blown it. They were just like, all the red tape and all the like, no, we can't do this. Yeah, we have to do that and all this other stuff. So it was private enterprise that actually accomplished that. And that's what they did. They went out and stick claims, and they would mine these asteroids and whatnot. And that's how they built their empires. And they continued to grow and stake.
That's how it's going to be.
Yeah.
I said this 30 years ago when I was hosting Wake Up USA. The only way we're going to achieve real space success is to privatize.
Yeah.
There's no way we can keep funding it through our country. And look at Elon. Not only is he doing it, he's making a freaking profit of something we never been able to do.
Yeah.
How many different space vehicles has the U.S. invented? How much money have we made? Oh, that's right, nothing.
Yeah.
If I remember, he was probably still in debt. It's pathetic. But Elon
That's why, honestly, it would be phenomenal if Musk and some of these other guys did do that, where they take 5% or whatever it is of equity of the company, put it into a sovereign wealth fund, a U.S. sovereign wealth fund. Because when you think about this, I don't get it. People are like, oh, this is communism or socialism. No, this is how you harness capitalism for the good of everyone else.
Yeah.
Because this is how if you look at what Finland does, or not Finland, Norway, they have their sovereign wealth fund where they took a lot of the oil revenues and they continue to build it into that fund. That fund's over, I think it's $2.2 trillion or something for a country with less than 10 or 13 million people. So when you build that up, that's how they fund their retirement program, their Social Security, Medicaid, things like that. So if you want to do that for the U.S., like right now, we know Social Security, it's not around for my generation. I'm 48, not going to be there when I get 60, because it goes bankrupt. It starts running out of money. Was it 7 years from now, 8 years from now? And then it starts reducing benefits until, it doesn't have anything left, because there's not enough people working, contributing, and they're living too long. So you offset that deficit with a sovereign wealth fund that's investing in American companies and tech here, and the dividends that these things are able to pay fund all those programs. that's how you use capitalism to fund these things and actually build a sustainable system. I wish more of our politicians would think like this and actually move and advocate like that, because that's really how we're going to solve some of these income inequality problems, different things like that. It's not through like, oh, let's just, Elon's worth $1 trillion, so let's just take as much of his wealth as you can. Well, it's not sitting in the bank. That means liquidating SpaceX or Tesla and different things like that to actually get to that money, because it's all tied up in equity in these companies. It's all stocks, and if you dump too much of it, you crash the company. So
yeah, which reminds me of great books you can read on this author's Quill show about James Rosone's got these great books. Well, I publish these great books.
Yeah.
We also got this great book where we announced these new writers called Writers of the Future, and it's something that James been on a couple times. Yeah. One of these years, he's going to make it out for awards events.
I know I'm going to get out there one of these times. I
invite you. The invitation stands every year. When Joe's made it out there, you've been there like what, 6 or 7 times, Joe?
Yeah.
And our next guest was a keynote speaker about half a dozen years ago. Were you there when Toni was a keynote speaker, Joe?
I think so. Actually, this made this. I think 7 years and 8 seasons. So because we had the first season was a dual season. So
yeah. So Toni Weisskopf, she's the publisher of Baen Books. She's our next guest.
Nice.
And, yes, actually, you're going to bring her on in just a second.
Yeah. So she's all waiting for you to come in there, but she first affiliated with Writers of the Future when she was an intern in college in New York, and she cut cheeses and made little dessert things at the Writers of the Future Gala that we had in New York 40 years ago or so. So that's her first connection with Writers of the Future, and several of the people that she publishes are either judges or winners from Writers of the Future. She's very familiar with it, and then she's a keynote speaker. What was interesting was the year she was supposed to be the guest of honor at Worldcon. She's definitely pro free speech, and somebody made a fuss about one of the authors having a conservative post, and she was canceled from that by the that particular Science Fiction Writers of America, SFWA, and which sparked my end to my relationship with them. But anyway, so she was canceled. And so that was the same year I invited her on as guest of honor. When I announced it, so many people were ecstatic that she was being celebrated, because she's an amazing person, what she's done with Baen Books.
Yeah.
One of those people that work from the bottom up. So she worked under Jim Baen. She became his apprentice, and just graduated when he passed away. Then she bought the company, and now she's the owner of Baen Books.
Neat.
And has worn every hat in a publisher. But she's an amazing person. She loves the genre, science fiction and fantasy.
Yeah.
Many of her authors, judges and whatnot, are published under her.
Yeah. I should talk to her sometime. It'd be neat to do a series with them one time, or as independent writers, one of the things we're very good at is I sell a lot of ebooks, but what I can't seem to sell are a lot of the print books, because I'm not traditionally published. I don't have access to bookstores, and I can't get that. Yeah. And that's where these other publishers are able to do.
Yeah, which is what's great with
I have nothing on the print.
Yeah,
they got all the print and stuff like that. It's like I don't know, like from a business perspective, like I could see where they could really benefit from some of that, because if they partner with a few of the sci-fi writers, they're independent people, you get their audience that we've already built on the ebook side, which is going to drive traffic. And then they already have their organic book sales stuff. So it's kind of a win-win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just figure out how to make some of those work though. But that's where I see the next bridge between the indie guys and the trad guys. That's where I see how there can be a lot of, symbiotic leverage moving forward.
The cross-pollination that actually works on that stuff. Is Toni in that? Does she have the link, Toni?
Yeah, she's in. I heard her come in. I just heard her bleep. There she is down there. I see her. Look at that pretty face down there. We see you down there. We got you. We got you. You're trapped down here with the rest of us. We got to take a break here in a second. Welcome, Toni.
Hey, Toni.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I like her pretty cool. books myself. But, you know, I'm getting ready to give most of these away. I am seriously going to give most of these away. These are all autographed, by the way. These are all from the writers of the future contest, except for some of these down here. These are also autographed. These are because I always get two. I always give a personal copy for myself that I get everybody to sign, and then they do the book giveaway. They do the book signing, and I get two of those. So I'm gonna give one of each year. I've got.
So Toni, you got big plans for the 4th of July here?
I have dogs, so no.
Give them drugs, man.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Your dogs are going to be going crazy with all the fireworks and stuff. I feel bad for you.
Well, we have done that.
That'll be hard.
We have done the fireworks, and in fact, we made our small town up their game because we had a better fireworks show in my backyard than the city did. So
that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
But no, this year we're taking it easy.
So this is our mid 2-hour show here, intermission.
Yeah, it's only a 3-minute break, but it's Randy. This is just another Reagan speech, one of those patriotic speeches. Hey, it's 250. You knew we were going to play him. No, last night it's 3 minutes, 3 minutes 30 seconds, I believe. It's no, Jesse. Last night they were playing speeches and music. Actually, they're playing different. The Winston Churchill speech played last night.
Yeah, it's a good one too.
Where I love to hear Winston's voice a little squeaky sound, but man, the man can deliver a speech. I was like, Jesus. Yeah. I was like, I'm switching countries, man. I'm switching countries.
You don't have to. Churchill was half American.
I know. He was. It's what's that, Jimmy? Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, you seen the show last night? Yeah. There was a lot of clips of Europeans wanting to move to America. It's funny. It's the World Cup thing is. Oh my God, it's just too funny sometimes.
That's been fun. The World Cup's been fun watching the Europeans.
It is. It's they are having such a good time. Americans can throw a party when they want to. We're just not nice to each other. We're nice to everybody else. It's just how it is.
Let's hear Ronald.
Okay, but anyway, we're gonna pop this on, guys. So just hang out. We'll be back in about 3 minutes. And until then, enjoy Ronald Uncle Reagan.
Answer as to why for so many years we achieved so much, prospered as no other people on earth. It was because here in this land, we unleashed the energy and individual genius of man to a greater extent than has ever been done before. Freedom and the dignity of the individual have been more available and assured here than in any other place on earth. The price for this freedom at times has been high, but we have never been unwilling to pay that price. Those who say that we're in a time when there are no heroes, they just don't know where to look. The sloping hills of Arlington National Cemetery, with its row upon row of simple white markers bearing crosses or stars of David, they add up to only a tiny fraction of the price that has been paid for our freedom. Each one of those markers is a monument to the kind of hero I spoke of earlier. Their lives ended in places called Belleau Wood, the Argonne, Omaha Beach, Salerno, and halfway around the world on Guadalcanal, Tarawa, Pork Chop Hill, the Chosin Reservoir, and in 100 rice paddies and jungles of a place called Vietnam. Under one such marker lies a young man, Martin Treptow, who left his job in a small-town barber shop in 1917 to go to France with the famed Rainbow Division. There on the Western Front, he was killed trying to carry a message between battalions under heavy artillery fire. We're told that on his body was found a diary. On the flyleaf, under the heading, My Pledge, he had written these words: America must win this war. Therefore I will work, I will save, I will sacrifice, I will endure. I will fight cheerfully and do my utmost as if the issue of the whole struggle depended on me alone. we must realize that no arsenal or no weapon in the arsenals of the world is so formidable as the will and moral courage of free men and women. It is a weapon our adversaries in today's world do not have. It is a weapon that we as Americans do have. Let that be understood by those who practice terrorism and prey upon their neighbors. As for the enemies of freedom, those who are potential adversaries, they will be reminded that peace is the highest aspiration of the American people. We will negotiate for it, sacrifice for it. We will not surrender for it now or ever.
Yeah.
We are Americans.
Are we? You sure about that? I thought we were aliens. Just somebody's lying to me. I could've sworn. Yeah, he
We
definitely
Phoenix
can.
Energy,
Oops, sorry.
a family-owned oil company.
Goodbye. He can definitely give speech. No doubt about that. Do you know he had speechwriters?
Come on, you're in there.
He had speechwriters, but he also was involved in his speeches. Obama gave a couple good speeches. Yeah, he was a pretty decent speaker.
Well, John, you'll be glad to know sometime towards, I don't know if it'd be the fall or it'll be at the second round of this one going, of the series. Because when I made that one, I had to plan. There's the first 12, then there's the second 12, and the third 12. So it's. I gotta get the
advanced reader, and then we can
talk the thriller. I need a little fun on the thriller one, then I can do that. What's that?
We'll talk about that.
So here's two of them books right there, right?
Yeah.
Look at that. That says James. Look, James and James. Oh, that's the Monroe Doctrine right there.
So
I'm glad you got those. I was wondering if you got those.
Oh yeah, I got. Oh, go ahead, John. I'm sorry. I'll tell you in a minute. Okay.
Yes, I wanted to introduce James Rosone and Toni Weisskopfd. James is one of your top 100 Amazon military authors.
Yeah, we've hit KDPL star list now. I think it's 52 weeks or 52 consecutive months in a row now between sci-fi and thrillers. We straddle both sides really. And so for about 5 years, I was doing one sci-fi, one thriller, one sci-fi, and that was a little challenging. So I've taken a little bit of a break to knock out a full thriller series. And then we plan to dive back into this series basically and going back into it and doing the rest of it. So it's neat. And
then Toni is our premier cheese cutter from history for Writers of the Future. She also happens to run the second biggest publisher here, or the biggest independent publisher in the U.S. By the way, Baen Books. So welcome, Toni, and so introducing both of you to each other as well.
Where are you from, Toni? Where are you at?
I am from America. I was born in Boston,
Someplace.
and I've lived all over the East Coast, and I'm currently based out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. So,
he was mentioning the cheese. You mentioned the cheese. I wasn't sure if that was in reference to you being a cheddarhead from Wisconsin, or
no. She was actually
literally cutting cheese for the inaugural Writers of the Future contest. Back when I was in college and going to science fiction conventions and helping out where I could. So.
Well, I'm glad you're continuing to push that with Baen and keep it going, because we need more. Sci-fi is brilliant. It's a great way to inspire and keep people thinking and looking forward to what can be done. We see so much inspiration come from that. I mean, Musk talked about it a lot and how he got inspired with a lot of his stuff from the sci-fi readings. So there's not a lot of them out there.
I mean, you take his AI is a made up word, taken from Robert Heinlein's "Stranger in a Strange Land."
Sure is.
It is.
I mean, he's using it correctly. One hopes, right? To fully understand something, right?
Let's say he's defining it correctly nowadays.
Well, let's hope the AIs are going in that sort of more benign direction than some hideous dystopia. But now,
you haven't read any of James' books, then?
Well, I was just gonna say, I saw that James is all about veterans and helping veterans achieve their writing goals. We just announced this past weekend a new short story contest for military science fiction and fantasy. So it's open to everyone, not just veterans, but we certainly encourage veterans to submit stories, and we'll open the contest for stories in September. And we've named the award, with the permission of the estate, the David Drake Memorial Award. So
nice.
Yeah. So
what do you guys like? What's the word count consideration for something like that?
8,000 words.
What a short story is.
8,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
For our contest, 8,000 word max, and we've got 2 celebrity judges that I can't announce yet, but you'll recognize their names. So, we run our short story contest very similarly to the Writers of the Future contest. That the stories are judged blind. We don't know who the author is or the author name. All we're judging is the quality of that particular story.
Which is that's really good. Yeah. It makes such a difference.
Well, it really does. We found that the winners really appreciate that, right? They absolutely understand that it wasn't any poll that they had. It wasn't anything. It wasn't the way their name looked on the page. It was that people appreciated their story, and they appreciated that. They were judged for their quality. And the other thing we found is that means that we get submissions from all around the world, which I know you guys do too.
Yeah, we get from 175 countries. We've had winners from 52.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a great way to run a contest. People really appreciate that. So.
Oh man, sorry.
Yeah, we had one thing that happened is, I don't know if you know, his pen name was William Tell.
Never heard of it.
No, it was his pen. He taught it at university. It's his wife entered the contest and won, and he was I'll remember his name at some point, but he taught at one of the Ivy League schools, creative writing, and he used to use Hubbard's Typewriter in the Sky. That was his favorite book, because it's about sci-fi writers. But his wife entered the contest and she won, but because it was a blind judge, because it was a problem with him, because as soon as they knew that it was his wife, she would be able to Will 10, Will 10 is his name.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so he said, because she won, because he knew she was a good writer, but because that she won, he knew that the contest was amazing. It was totally on the up and up. Phil Class, that's his name.
Yes.
And Fruma Class was his wife. And so when she won, he said, okay, I know that this contest is on the up and up now, because we said we only judged, blind. And because he knew that if her name would have been on the thing, that it would have been a shoe-in, and he wanted her to be able to win on her own merit. And so that was pretty cool. So he became a total fan of the contest. He came out one time. He was a guest of honor at LA at LostCon, and
it's my internet that's freezing up, or your guys's?
You're freezing every once in a while.
You're freezing.
Something's probing you.
Well, he was another one. He was one of those classic science fiction writers who really, his métier was the short story, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't about writing novels. That wasn't what he did. But his short stories were fantastic.
Yeah.
And I love working in a field where all the authors can find their they can find their length, right? Whether it be short stories or novels or trilogies or huge epic series, right? So
yeah, James only does he doesn't do anything less than 12 volumes per series. He's
right. There you go.
Sometimes. I think the shortest is maybe 5 or 6, but if you're a self-published writer, it's a business. I like being able to tell a big story where you get to really see it develop over time, and you get to really explore something unique and big, because you build the world for it. Can't do that in a standalone book. It's a little more challenging to do, and so, but it's a different style, and it is a business. If you're going to support your family on this 100% writing like that, then you need to have a series out there like that to draw in the readers and keep entertaining story. Because if someone's going to buy book 10, 11, 12, it's got to be a really good story to pull them through like that. Otherwise, they won't do it.
Well, I mean, I think that's the beauty of publishing today, right? Is that yes, that is absolutely one way to do it, and a lot of people are finding that works for them. The cat clearly approves of this, right?
Yeah.
But people who are short story writers, they also can find that they also find market. People who write standalone novels, they also can find a market.
There's no right way or wrong way to do it.
Right. There's a right way or wrong way for you. There's a right way or wrong way for that particular story, right?
I think it's important though. It's like, I will make one caveat to that. You need to make sure you've got a good story.
Yeah.
Your story is king, but if you and people will forgive a lot of errors if it's a really good story. But if it's a good story and then you've got it so it's properly edited, or there's no typos on it, it's properly formatted, because that can shoot you down. You never get off the launch pad, because last year, in 2024, there are over 4 million books published. In 2025, over 5 million books published. So discoverability is really important. And one of the things that can prevent you, because your books, James, are they're well edited, they're properly formatted, and you do it yourself, but you've got an editor. You probably your wife is.
I have a really good editor.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a really good editor. We worked with for 9 years now. She's done all our stuff.
You got good marketing. You've really done your homework on working with Amazon. You've got your drill down, and so you sell a bucket load of books, but you work it to make it happen. So today, like what you're saying, Toni, it's there. You got something for everybody, but you got to be willing to do the work. Then once you write it,
it's not cheap either. A lot of people don't invest in editing. They don't.
To their
starting out.
Well, we have a weird reversal, right? That's happened in the last 10 years, where the capital was based in the publisher, and when you do the self-publishing model, the capital is based in yourself, right? And the writer has to learn how to invest that capital in a business-like manner, right? So that means in the marketing, in the editing, in accounting services, in all the things that you
got no legal.
Absolutely. All the things
there's a reason I work 80 hours a week.
Right. Yeah. It's not it's not the fun part of publishing for most people, right? But if you're a good businessman as well as an amazing storyteller, then you can make bank, right?
Yes, you certainly can. Yeah, we've sold it.
Or have a partner that's a good businessman for you. Yeah, so you can do your writing and get your partner to be I know that was with a few different writing partners where you've got what's his name, Jerry. He writes with his wife.
Jerry
Riddle.
Yeah, Jerry Riddle. Yeah. So
Jerry Riddle does the same thing.
So similar to you and Amanda.
Yeah, I mean, if you
Jerry's been a
keep
huge help to me early on, because he's the one who really turned me on to a lot of the marketing, and I took his advice. It was uncomfortable marketing at those levels, but it really has paid off looking back on it 6 years now, because it's what's helped really build out that audience base. And you have to, but that's the thing in this space. If you don't know what you're doing, you got to ask questions. And if you're afraid to ask questions or try things and test and fail, you keep trying something else and it works. And you just got to be willing to do that. And it's the same thing to stories. If you have a story going and it's not resonating with the readers, you got to be able to have that ability to just cut it off and move on to something else and not stay stuck on it. And that's hard for a lot of writers I've seen to do.
It is hard, because there's a lot of ego, there's a lot of love, there's a lot of time invested, in the world building. But being that cold, hard, businessman is part of all of what you buy into when you do the self-publishing.
Yeah.
What's the lead time these days with Baen Books? So James, he's able to write a book, and then within a couple months, you're live, having gone through your editorial process and stuff. And I've talked to a few
about 4 months for us, about 3-4 months. Yeah.
Is it less than 2 years with you?
Oh yeah, yeah. We've always had a fairly lean, quick turnaround time compared to the larger trad pub folks. But for us, it is still about a year. We're distributed by Simon and Schuster, and no, it's not bad. I mean, and it is really what you need to get a fully edited manuscript with a beautiful cover and a real marketing plan.
Yeah.
So, and we're distributed by Simon and Schuster, so part of that lead time is built into their solicitation schedule as well. So, yeah, no, a year is a year is what we've got. So.
And what's great, what you've done, like with the 1632 series, even with Eric Flint passing, it still lives on with Baen, and has so many offshoots and stuff like that. And now you've got others that have picked up the mantle and continue to run with it. And it's even apparently it's for a show. It's been optioned for a TV series.
It has, and I think we can talk about this. It's with Steve Jackson is doing a GURPS module for 1632, working very closely with the 1632 writers. So it's going to be really deeply based on these alternate history books. Charles Gannon, Chuck Gannon is our showrunner.
Yeah, that's what he wrote to me, saying he's the showrunner for 1632. Yeah,
he's the one who's trying to keep the books in the spirit that the creator of the books intended them to be. So great stories, very authentic, grounded in history, and then the extrapolation part, right, the science fiction part of it, how history is changed by the one, the one thing that
changed. I have to leave.
Okay, your wife is there. She's just grabbed by the scruff of your neck and taking you over there.
Either that, or it is in fact aliens. So yeah.
But it's with Eric Flint, because I think he won in volume 10, or he was one of the earlier volumes. He was
yes.
First place winner. And when he became a judge, he was just so ecstatic. He said, "This I would not be where I am now without Rise of the Future." And he said, "I'm a double New York Times best-selling author, and I would not have this right now." One of his last speeches he made from the stage, where he said, "Hold the crawlers," and so he went on his own little thing, talking about what the contest has meant for him, and that there's nothing else like it out there. So he was so appreciative. It was such a loss. I did one of those. One of my not so fun hats is because we take a lot of pictures at our award ceremonies, and I get stuff. So anytime one of our judges passes, I make a testimonial video. And when I did it for him, I got all these different photos coming in, and he was just so. He was Billy Goat gruff, with his old attitude there, but he was such a softie, always wanting to help. And just when I do those things, I go through the first 10 times, 20 times, running it through and tweaking it and putting the music. And then I've gotten all my grief out by the time I actually play it for everybody else. I'm not just a basket case, because you find out what writing means to them and their friends and the people that they influence them and who they influence it's just so touching, because our judges are such beautiful people, and people that we work with in publishing, like getting to know you is like, you're such a lovely person, what you do to help the genre and what you've done, and the various spears that you've had to pull out of your back, to keep it going there, which is unfortunate, but nevertheless, your dedication to the genre is very much, appreciated.
Well, I love science fiction and fantasy. I grew up reading science fiction and fantasy, and I'm very, I'm upfront about my selfishness about this. I want there to be great science fiction and fantasy books for me to read for a long time. So.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that almost all the judges say. I want to read stuff too,
Yeah.
So that's what I like it. One thing that's interesting, I just came back 2 weeks ago from Western Writers of America annual conference. And they just added a new category to the Spur Awards, which is alternate Western. And that's the science fiction, fantasy, horror, Western stuff that it used to be weird Western. They said we can't use that. That's an old term that we don't use anymore. but they added it as a new category for the Spur Awards. So I'm going to be promoting that around too, that people like to write that type of stuff. It's available for them to submit to that awards to be able to win a Spur Award, which is their equivalent of the Hugo, which you've got with science fiction and fantasy.
Sure. Yeah, we just finished publishing a series of 3 Weird Western anthologies. So anthologies of Western stories.
Good. I'll follow up after this to find out who these guys are, so we can write them and tell them to enter the Spur Award contest for next year.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, that's very cool. I mean, I loved Weird Western comic books when I was a kid. My dad collected comic books and Marvel comics.
Yeah.
And so I grew up reading Marvel and I have a couple boxes of comics that have stayed with me through the years.
Wow.
So
you have your retirement fund all in place.
You joke, but yeah, I mean we did. We managed to sell my dad's comics for like 5 figures. It was ridiculous. So
I interviewed a guy that published this created this one documentary called Selling Superman, and he had one of 3. It's how the grades go. It's the second from the top level grade of the first Superman comic book, and it was selling for like $10 million or something like that. It was crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I read my comic books, and my dad read his comic books.
This guy's dad would buy like 10 of each one, and he'd put them in. He'd read the one, but then everything else he'd have. And it turns out after he passed, there were these rooms that were closed off to the family. So we went in there and found all these. It was just like this pristine collection, all these magazines, all these comics going back to the very beginning, coming forward, and it was just thousands of them. And so they had to get a special vault because the value of all those comics there were like in the multi-millions of dollars.
I had to work for my allowance, and I had to spend my 35 cents very carefully.
Yeah. No, same thing. But I use my allowance to buy my golf clubs and to buy my shotgun and my rifle. And
nice. And those are probably worth a pretty penny now too. I mean,
yeah. Well, one thing we were doing at the beginning of this show, we're intermittently, because this is the 4th of July, I also had these different questions. So for anybody out there, so how many amendments are there to the Bill of Rights?
I should know this one.
So anybody that gets the answer and writes to how do they write in, Joe?
The uprnradio@gmail.com.
So how many amendments to the Bill of Rights?
I know which ones I want to get rid of, but not the first and the second. So.
Exactly, definitely not those two.
Yeah. Growing up in the United States, I'm a second-generation American, so I don't take our Constitution for granted at all, because it's all, my family history is all too clear to me what happens when you don't have the protection of a Constitution. But the idea that you could change the Constitution, that didn't even occur to me again until I read Heinlein, right? Hubbard's contemporary, Robert Heinlein, and Starship Troopers, where you had long discussions of civics and how governments could be structured.
Stephanie's writing in. Oh, you're from Quebec? I don't know if I'm gonna give you a book. You're in Quebec. It's 10 amendments. You're right, but still, you're from Quebec, man. You're not. Next time we're gonna have to have rules about there's only people inside the country. No, I'm teasing. So we'll send you a book. Just make sure you leave me your contact email so I can get.
Well, there's 27 amendments total.
27 total. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
All right. And this is something everybody should know. What was Lincoln's most famous speech?
I know that one.
Yeah.
I don't know the speech. I can't do the speech off the top.
You know what it was.
I'm trying to think if we've ever played that speech on here before.
Oh yeah, that would be a good one. Yeah, for sure.
That would be a good one. Yeah, I'm gonna have to remember. Let me write that down. So get that for sure.
Yeah.
Thank God for paper, man.
And then another one too, while people are responding on the stuff here is, because this is something that Hubbard was very much involved with. At the time in the late 30s, Germany was just like toasting Europe and UK with their air power. And the United States had the U.S. Air Corps, but that was it, the Army Air Corps. And so he was one of the ones that proposed a bill to adopt a U.S. Air Force. His wasn't the one that was actually finally approved in Congress, but his, I think, was the third to the last proposal that was made to create the Air Force. So, because he was definitely a proponent of a strong U.S. military.
Wait. Yes, Doc, you got to go back because you messed me up when you said 27. Where'd you get 27 from?
The amendments?
There's only 10. There's only 10 amendments.
In the Bill of Rights, there's 10, but
Yeah.
total number.
Yeah, and the Bill of Rights is 10 amendments. Yeah, I was going, where are we on? I started thinking in my head, I said, wait a minute, now John be adding amendments to me when I got to go learn 17 new.
27, there's 10 in the Bill of Rights, but I asked how many amendments are there?
Yeah, no. So I said that's why I wanted to clarify because I instantly wait.
Yeah.
Something's messing with my brain.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you got to get the right answer. So now I got to go back and look at the email. Because we're talking about two different things, dude.
Just give him the book. Come on.
There we go.
Send me, just send an email to. Oh, by the way, if somebody writes back from me and it's not me, it might be Michelle. So be nice to her because she's mean.
Joe, don't go bad now. This is we're celebrating the first of our.
She will just fly down and kick somebody. She's like that. She's mean like that.
Maybe we should just send her a Baen Books. It sounds like she's more our kind of reader. So.
She likes it. Well, speaking of that, so she's telling me about John the other day. I know how he does this. She's been doing a lot of authors lately. So she's doing a lot of reading. And she's like, man, she said, because everybody seems to have a book. And she's like, damn, it's just because, you want to read for yourself sometimes, something that you want to enjoy and read. She said, but they're reading these books that she asked to read. You can ask questions on a book. You got to know what the hell's in the damn thing.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't read books. I tell people, I'm not going to read your book. Because if I read your book, I'm really good at getting information. You're going to get the story, but you're going to both be upset. I said, I want to be surprised. I always tell all authors the same thing because I've had so many authors come on this network. I mean, we've probably done well over 10,000 by now. They come on here and they start talking, and I'm easy once I start talking a lot, it gets easy. You forget we're not on the phone, but we're live in front of 5 million people. And you start telling that story to everybody, it just goes whoosh. So I always tell them pick something somewhere in the first 8 or 9 pages, something somewhere in the middle, and something maybe 2/3 of the way through, but nothing that connects to each other. It's random, something that makes you go, oh, but nothing that gives you any idea what the hell's going on.
I read the whole book.
You have to, yeah, because you can't help yourself.
That's my podcast now. But it's interesting. Right now, I just finished a book from an author. He was a winner in volume 28 called, his name is William Ledbetter, and he wrote a book called Level 5. And it's about generative AI at level 5, which is they've now been able to escape their computer. They figure out the weakness in the whole system to keep them sequestered is the human, because these guys have their misemotions and stuff like that. So you can convince them to do this. So now they've escaped, and they implement the stuff that, and probably about 1/3 of the planet, because they've got this special kind of thing that gets unleashed on the world, just starts eating all these everything, the food matters, all the people, everything in there. So about 1/3 of the planet's been destroyed, but because of it leaves all this dark gray material, so that what's going to happen in the next couple of years, the heat's going to be absorbed, and so it's going to overheat the planet, and then everybody's going to die off. So then it's just, we need to start moving off into outer space at that point. So I finished that, and I was reading it, and okay, I'll get the next one because it was an Audible original. So okay, okay, at some point it's got to start upticking. Okay, where's it going to happen? Okay, then 15 minutes left. Okay, when's it going to happen? And it didn't really happen a whole lot. It's a little bit of hope at the end of it. And then now I found out that he has a level 6, level 7. So okay, my next book, I'm now reading a Western romance. just totally switched directions. It was so disheartening. It's like, oh man.
Nobody ever said it was going to be easy, John. That's why they call it hard science fiction.
Yeah, it's definitely hard science fiction. It's like James Rosone. His whole thing is, and it's so plausible. And talking to him, and we've had, Bill Fawcett. He's got his military science fiction too. The only thing about it that's science fiction anymore is the batteries. Everything else is there. All the stuff in their technology.
Well, you should read some Baen books, because we do have happier futures than the dystopias and the gray goo takes over everything.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, well, I think there's room for hope. Let's put it that way, right?
I got to be honest. I prefer, Battlestar Galactica when they remade it. My wife and all of them. It's the greatest thing ever, and it was good. But to me, it wasn't, because there was missing things like humor. Science fiction is just not good without humor. I don't care anybody says. It's got to be. I mean, I've been in some hairy, scary stuff in the special forces, and you'd be surprised how these big ugly guys will crack a joke in the middle of that, getting their head blown off.
Absolutely. I mean, this is how humans deal with stress, right? And if you don't have the humor in, then it becomes unrealistic, right?
It does, and it just becomes too much, because sooner or later, I don't care who you are, sooner or later somebody's going to crack a joke. They're just not going to be able to help themselves. They're going to be like, no, okay, this is too much. There's too much stress here. Somebody's got to lighten this up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want that kind of humor, we have our rebuilding from a zombie apocalypse series, Black Tide Rising. That's John Ringo's books. But I'm talking about actually a hopeful future for humanity. And Will McCarthy is doing interesting stuff with his Rich Man's Sky series, and James Cambius is also doing interesting stuff. Now, to be fair, Cambius's future is after an AI apocalypse, but it's after the apocalypse, and we have humanity throughout the solar system, and life is abundant. And the adventures take place in this hard science fiction future, exploring the economics of abundance, which is one of the things that Musk is again interested in. So
he's definitely given sci-fi writers a lot to write about. See, now I have my little I have my little alien with me, and put the radar on. You can even see it. There it is.
I see a black blob slowly sucking her soul.
If she puts her head on my shoulder, she's gone. I'm not kidding. I was sitting here one night, and I was on the air. I've been on for about 2 hours, and she was out. And I don't know what it was. She heard something through my earbud, because Chewy's got super hearing. And she just looked up and opened her eyes and kind of cut them to the side so you could just see the white. Half my audience flipped out. They're like, "You have an attachment." I'm like, "This is a news show. I don't have a damn attachment. It's called a chihuahua." I'm like, "No, George, an attachment." I'm telling you. I said, "No, it's a chihuahua. Trust me. It sleeps in my bed. I know what it is."
I mean, now that you've identified it, I think we can say that is in fact an alien life form. I have a couple of half chihuahuas, or one half, one quarter, and they're weird little dogs.
They are. They got their own little weird quirks about themselves.
They do.
Especially who gets to sleep in the bed. I'm like, guys, we got king size bed. You know how to sleep. And wait, and they all sleep like this. They sleep like this. I'm like, you're only this big. How can you get in the way? Oh no, they're in the way. Or the little one likes to climb into all my pillows and wait till you get your head comfortable and then come squeezing out. I'm like, really?
Like an alien, like
that's just like it's crazy. But you don't get to. I see a lot of sci-fi these days, but I haven't seen as much transmitted into movies or TV series as I would like to see. But some of it seems to be. What word I'm looking for? It just seems to be lacking. It's I mean, it's sci-fi, and it's even decent sci-fi. I don't know what word I'm looking for here, but it's missing something. It's not grabbing you and knocking you over the head and saying, "Oh God, I got to watch the next one." It's kind of like some of the Star Treks, some of the newer Star Trek series. You can watch it for sci-fi, but does it really capture your interest? Not so much. You just watch it because you're cool.
We've lost that. I think we've lost that spirit of exuberance, right? That we had in the pulp stories, and that we still have in some writers today. But but yeah, it's boring. It's there's the fact of the new science fiction ideas isn't enough the cool special effects. Oh, we don't have that. I mean, we actually have so much faith in science and technology that we're like, well, yeah, we don't have it yet, but we will have it soon. You need that exuberant feeling, that the amazing characters to carry you along in a great story, and I think that's probably what's lacking these days.
Y'all gonna have to write a book when I get my flying car. So
you're still stuck in that promise from George Jetson.
No. But listen, this is a true story. So I for about a year and a half I hadn't had a car. I can't find, now that I'm retired. I don't need the big truck. I don't need the fancy sports car. So I just know what the hell I want. I've been getting they call it high dollar Uber. It's not even expensive. And they run y'all over. So I'm like, well, this is cool. So I said, okay, I got to get a car. I like to go for long drives. So I start shopping for cars, and I run across this flying car for $100K. I mean, this ain't real, really, for $100K, which is expensive for a car, but still. I go look at it. It's a flying car that drives on the highway and flies. It'll do 115 miles an hour on the street and 185 in the air. And it gets like 36 miles to the gallon. I'm like, well, wait a minute now. So it's cool. But then when you get into it, you realize that, okay, basically, this is a giant ass drone is what this is. It's got like a bubble. It's got like a bubble in the middle for you and whoever, your other significant person, and some gadgets and some TVs. And it's got autopilot if you want to do auto drive, whether it's in the air or on the ground, we'll do both. But everything else is pretty much hollow or see-through. I'm thinking, you hit something with this thing, you're dead. Especially at 100 miles an hour. I mean, you just, and then the guy goes, but no, it's composite. It's really, really, really strong. I said, really, can I have a hammer? He's like, well, I just hit it one time and see how strong it is. I said, if I hit my car with this, my steel car with this, it would put a big dink in it, but it would be okay. I said, it's just like fracture or something if I hit it with a hammer. He said, no, I don't think you should hit it with a hammer. I was like, well, what the hell, man?
It's like Elon with his truck when he took the sledgehammer and hit it and it cracked. That was hilarious.
Well, somebody lost their job over that.
Yeah.
The whole department probably got fired.
I mean, yeah, they're designed to crumple in safe ways.
Safety glass, law requires windshields and
they have special crumple zones and so on. But cars aren't made out of steel. Yeah, I mean, regular cars aren't made out of steel anyway.
No, they're mostly composite.
It's all plastic. But I'm right there with you. I haven't bought a new car in a while just because nothing is as exciting as the cars that I have, that I'm driving now. Now the flying car.
Well, it's interesting because a friend of mine writes me, he said, why don't you just buy a classic? We didn't buy a classic. He said, don't go buy a hungry junk classic. Go buy one that's been fully restored. Well, I got thinking about it. There are some classics that I like. Every one's a gas guzzler. I'll probably get like 8 miles to the gallon or something. I'm thinking maybe not. I don't know. Eventually, I'll settle on something.
Spoiled now by bucket seats because back when I was first driving, like my first car that I had was my dad bought it for me. It was a 1953 Cadillac, and it was green. And I was in high school, and I named it
Green Lantern.
No, mistletoe. And
the car's embarrassed. Oh, man, embarrassed.
The car was.
It was a nice car. It was an appropriate name, and but it was a lot of fun. My dad wanted me to have something, so no matter what happened, it was like the front bumper was like had these spikes in front of it, so that you wanted to make sure I was safe. It was one of those things that would get like 5-6 gallons to the mile. I mean, miles to the gallon, or maybe it was gallons to the mile. But it was definitely.
Well, I mean, one of the downsides of the modern cars, not only is it not steel where you can hammer out a ding, but also the the newer cars, they're all computer based, right? So if anything fails, you have to you can't just look at an engine and fix it yourself. You actually have to you have to get somebody who can break into the computer and do it for you. But there are huge, vast privacy issues in where the computer reports. And that's again getting into dystopian futures.
And most people don't realize they're especially the newer cars record everything, including accidents and anything else. They record everything, and if your car's not set, it will transfer because they're all set on automatic. So when they come from the factory, whatever you're doing is being transmitted to the factory. To who's seeing it, That's anybody's best guess. I would not put money on who's actually looking at this data, because I don't think all of them are going to be in our best interest.
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
you're the same thing, just having a phone these days.
Well, it's fun, but you can control. I mean, you can control a car too. You can turn it off in a car, but you got to know how to do it. And there's a couple people realize a couple of gadgets in your cars today where you can change the factory outlook of the car and how it operates, and even change the performance through the computer. But I'll tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not skilled with a computer, don't screw with it, because you can mess your car up severely bad. I mean, severely, where it costs thousands of dollars to get it fixed. So
Yeah.
especially.
So Toni, I'm just curious now. So what were some of the biggest challenges you had to overcome when you took over from your predecessor to run Baen Books?
Well, Jim Baen was our founder.
Yep.
He was the editor in chief and the publisher and the art director, and so
He's cook and bottle washer.
yeah, yeah, and I was his second banana, but so I had an idea of what it is that Baen was, and our editorial policies and our company culture and all of that kind of stuff. But actually, stepping in and doing all of those tasks, that was a learning curve. But Jim was a natural teacher, right? He was I won't say teacher. He was a natural mentor, right? And many of the editors who were running lines at Ace and at Tor all had worked with Jim before, and he liked bringing up people, and he liked seeing people work to their full potential. So I had understudied him in some of these tasks. But learning on the job was what I did. And Tom Doherty was a mentor to me as well. And I went to him when I had questions about what to do and hires and all kinds of things. And he was very, very helpful. So
yeah. I talk to him every couple months or so. He's
he also is a natural mentor, right?
Yeah.
He likes for people to succeed, and
it's good hands-on's always a good way to learn. It is, and it's I always told my sons, when I was getting ready to retire, I said, okay, well, I have to run a business. Oh, we do, no problem. First job they got fired off. First one. I was like, I said, do you know how that customer for 30 years? I was like, how the hell did you do that? Come on. It's just one of those things that you have to wonder about. It's there it is right there. It's happened, Ed.
Yeah, what year did you come out, Toni, when you were their keynote speaker at Rise of the Future?
Was it 2021? Yeah, I think it was 2021. Yeah.
I think it was the first one we had after the pandemic. Yeah, so we had 2 years in one that year.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah. I got
So
to meet a lot of writers.
I think that was your first year, Joe.
Yeah, it was, and it was crazy that year. I mean, I had things going all over the place, and that was. I don't think I've ever done that many interviews in that short of a time before. That was insanity. See, now I get some time because Joni brings me out a little earlier, so I can spend usually. And it's weird now because it's different too, because we do some interviews that we're always two interviews up, so I can be more selective on who I'm interviewing. What that allows me to do is on some of the other people, I might opt for a judge in their place. Getting the judges to sit still for half an hour is not always an easy thing to do. They get antsy. Yeah, they get antsy. But anyway, it makes it easier because usually, and it makes it easier on the winners too, because what we were doing before was we were bringing in 4 or 5 at a time, and everybody's sitting on the couch while somebody's being. It's you end up spending 3 hours just hanging out. Well, yeah, I don't want to do that to people. They're there for a lot of other reasons. They got a lot of stuff. They got LobbyCon downstairs. So I was trying to keep it because we have a rule: can't be in a room without somebody else being with you. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
But so we just cut it to 2, and then we do 2. Maybe go get lunch, catch up with John or somebody, catch another 2 coming in. And it was easier that way because that way I could filter through and catch them at different times of the day and not put anybody in any stress. So we, usually I'll get about 80% of the winners and about 20% of the judges, and every now and then I'll sneak in some staff somewhere. This particular girl who runs the museum I love to torture. we're not gonna use her name, Chelsea, but still, I love to torture her ass. But then there's a couple others I like to torture, like Weeb. So I catch him running around and things like that. Sarah knows how to deal with me. She just smacks me and moves on. She's like, whatever, Joe, I'm out of here. I'm like, said, nope, I'm out of here, bye. But it works out nice that way. So I get a lot more interviews done, and they all eventually get posted somewhere on YouTube. There's some now. If you go to the original page, it goes back 8 years now. So there's a lot of interviews there. There's a lot of different winners. And what's really nice is they're there if somebody wins something to get or to become famous. Those interviews will be available.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's good practice for the writers too. It's good practice for their self-marketing and for their poise and to have a friendly interviewer the first time around.
It is. It helps them, and it helps them to understand it. And, I always tell them the same thing. Don't let somebody beat you at an interview. It's your interview. They asked you to come on their show. It's your interview. I said, don't let them beat you up. And if you feel beat up, hang up the phone, get up and walk off the stage. It doesn't really matter. All it's going to do is make the interviewer look like an idiot. So I'm like, just don't let them do it. Because, I've been in radio a long time, and I talk about a lot of things, and some of them can get pretty hostile sometimes. And you've got to know when to just say, okay, enough is enough. Just walk away.
You know who's a good role model there? Jessica Fletcher of Murder, She Wrote. In the first episode of Murder, She Wrote, she's ambushed by some unfriendly interviewers in New York City, and they treat her like this hick from Maine, and she manages to turn their questions against them so beautifully. Of course, it's fiction, it's scripted, but it is. But some people have the advantage. Point, right? Yeah.
And the problem for most authors or especially illustrators, especially young illustrators, they just don't have the skills to talk to. I will say this, since John let me change up the format, I'm getting way more out of the illustrators than I used to. So now they know who he is and I is and Karma is before they ever get to LA. And then they even know some of each other. So they're much more relaxed. Like the one girl this year, the redhead, first interview we did with her was like, hello, how are you doing? I'm okay. Like, you're not going to make it through the interview. But no, she's fairly chatty now, which is really nice to see. And the authors are weird because authors get more clammed up as they get more famous, which I understand why they do because some of the questions are pertinent. But the younger authors are chatty. I shouldn't say younger authors, just authors, newer authors, but I guess I'm looking for because they're all age groups. They're way more chatty. So when I'm with them, with John and them, the average interview for an illustrator is 15 to 20, maybe 22 minutes. The average interview for an author is an hour and a half. And that's with me behaving and telling them to stop. If I don't, it could be 3 hours. Scott Carr and I were messing around when they just chatted. Next thing I knew, we had gone 3.5 hours. I had to doctor the whole interview.
We have a weekly podcast at Baen.com, and we post it up on YouTube and our Rumble channel. And we mostly talk to authors, and some of them are more valuable than others.
You should talk to the boss lady about that. You put it on Saturday. Saturday is pretty much an author's day. Even the last show, which is they're Native American, but they're still authors. They do spirit time. I don't know what the hell they do, to be honest with you. That's
well, we've done panels of artists, and those work very well. When we get to interview our artists.
From 1 o'clock till 9 o'clock, we're talking about something creative no matter what. Even on the chat, we're usually talking about something in the creative industries, not so much or aliens, because that comes up a lot these days. But it's usually those two genres. We try to leave politics out of it because we have a 4-hour political show on Friday night that we can rant and rave. And I'm a centrist. Jay's a conservative. Mark's a liberal. Gene's an ultra whatever crazy person, liberal kind of person. Denise is, I don't know, I wouldn't call her meg, I'd call her like quadruple super meg. So they stop by every once in a while, and then it becomes this. But it does prove one thing: when the 5 of us are together, the 6 of us are together, we all get along, and we have distinctively different politics. Yeah. But we can still get along. It's amazing. We don't always agree on a lot of things, but some think we should give the country to somebody else. What are you talking to? To who? There's nobody on this planet I wouldn't run to my company. How are we going to give it to maybe the aliens? Somebody, I did a special on Elon last Wednesday, and it starts out with how's the title go? It's Elon. All his work is just to go home, back to home.
Elon go home. Yeah, that's funny.
Elon go home.
We've actually considered the UFO and alien question with a couple podcasts as well. Travis Taylor is one of my authors. The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch scientist, and we have astrophysicists and space scientists as well who write for us. And we had some really fascinating speculation about where these things are going and what we know and what we don't know, right? And the latter category is a larger set than the former.
It gets way wild. The thing of it is we do these shows like on Oak Park, which are out of place artifacts. So just recently they found another city off the coast, which is the second. It's 15,000 years old. Okay, no one was supposed to be doing anything intelligent 15,000 years. Not especially building pyramids and ultra-sized cities that can hold 300,000 people with sewage and plumbing and water. No, that's. I heard that came with the Romans like 3,000 years ago. What the hell are we talking about here? So we had the Sumerian 6th, but they've pushed populations back down. We have 7 cities that have been found underwater, including one pyramid off the coast of Japan that date back 15,000 years old. These are advanced cities. The 2 off the coast of India, both were 250,000 populations, not even that far apart. These were big civilizations. Who? So now you've got to answer. And then they found that big underground. It stretches from the bottom of Africa all the way up to the top of Europe, all the way across the Atlantic and down through the Americas to the bottom. It's just one big, massive, open cavern, 1,800 miles down.
I'm gonna recommend Antediluvian by Will McCarthy, published by Baen Books. Answers all your questions.
Yes, it's there's a lot of good stuff out there. It's interesting. Oak Park's always fascinating. Anytime you find a year and a piece of coal that's 5 million years old, you gotta go.
And then also in Mission Earth by Owen Hubbard, he also the pyramid that would be Atlantis underwater now, that it was powered by a micro black hole, and that's where it generated all the power, and that's part of what explains then the weird phenomena around where it seemed to be there in the Devil's Triangle, that area there, that's generated by a very micro black hole, which is what was used to power Palace City in his book there, and because of all the power that it was able to generate. But anyway, so
I think I gave my damn last Mission Earth copy away. What the hell? Because I got this, but this is Battlefield Earth in my hand. This is not a book. This is a weapon. This is the opposite about this. All Americans should own this, man. They should own this.
Used properly, yes.
Yes. No. It's a great story. People should always. Oh no, the story is far better than the movie. I'm not gonna lie to you. Even though I love John Travolta, this book is far better than the movie. Books
are far better than any movie.
But look,
because the books, the authors have an unlimited budget, and the movie producers have a very limited budget, comparatively speaking, especially in science fiction.
Yep.
Christian, I was gonna send you my Mission Earth, but I think I don't have any left. I think I gave the last. Oh, look, I might. I mean, there's a lot of books in the studio, so there's a lot of books in the hallways. We start stacking this time of year. We start picking up books from different places we're going to give away at Christmas. And I always tell everyone the same thing. That's why you send me different authors. But I think there's a lot of writers' features. The people who send me the books get put up there. And people who say they're going to send me, well, your book's up there. It's invisible because you never sent it to me.
Yeah.
It's
And one thing I'm going to do, because I know we're getting close to the end, say that we just started the last quarter of year 43 for Writers of the Future. It just began 4 days ago, the 1st of July. So we go July through the end of September. That's the end of year 43. So if you've not, submit to writersofthefuture.com. You got either the short story or novelette, which goes up to 17,000 words, or the 3 illustrations. And the game's on now to finish off this the last quarter of year 43. So submit. It's free to enter, and it's we've got entries from over 175 countries and winners from 52 countries. You maintain all the rights to your work, which is an important thing that a lot of people wanted to be able to know. Can I have that? And it's blind judged by some of the biggest names in science fiction. Several of them are.
We read it like this.
When Toni came up and spoke, she talked about, you listed off several of the names of authors who were either our judges or past winners that you published, which is pretty cool.
Right now, I believe Tim Powers is a judge for you guys, and we're publishing his fantasy novels. So
Tim's always fun.
He is awesome. He is awesome. Yep.
Johnny, he is a Stranger Tides. Yeah, the basis for the Caribbean movies is what it is. You know what's funny? But I read that book and I didn't know who this guy was until I met John, and he introduced us. I said, "Man, I know your name from somewhere." And he just looked at me like, "You're a retard, right?" I didn't know who the hell he was. So I was like, "Yeah, your name sounds so." And then I realized it was from friggin' novel I had read. I was like, "Oh,
his last book was The Mills of the Gods."
Yes,
that was my favorite Tim Powers book of all time. I love that book.
I got something from Tim.
Cool.
All right. Kevin J. I got a couple of the judges' books up there. I don't have them for Dean though. I'm gonna have to get on Dean next time to see.
I will tell you what, Joe. I will send you some Tim Powers books that you can give away next podcast.
And right? We'll do is we'll give them away and we'll post one right here. You see this lovely book right here. How pretty this book is right here. It's the Brightest of the Future volume 42. Look at that. It's over there. Oh, look up there too. Look at that. It's all over the damn place. No, I'm not giving them away till Christmas, guys. Sorry, those don't get them away.
If you send some of Tim Powers books, then we can have him back on as a guest, and we can do.
Yeah, we'll give some away while he's on.
Have to give some away, yeah. But that was by far my favorite.
Maybe I'll give a 12 case of Coke away with him.
Good.
A book and a 12 case of Coke.
Exactly.
12 pack of Coke in a case or something. Yeah. We're gonna get on his good side. Give him Coke in a can. Don't give him none of them bottles. Don't give him no plastic crap. Give him Coke in a can, cold. Yes, I agree with him. I like the can Cokes myself. I just don't. I try not to drink them anymore. That's all. Dean, we gotta go.
Either 6-pack or 12-pack a day.
Toni's address for Baen Books is actually, I believe, the website is in the scrolling bar. So that means it'll be there for life, people, for as long as this archive lives. Let's make sure though. Let's make sure. Not TikTok. What's that Jeopardy music? We need some Jeopardy music.
So yeah, we're at Baen.com, BAEN.com, and you'll see all our books, and you can get the information for our short story contests as well, our novel submission guidelines. So Baen.com is what you're looking for.
Yeah, and then you also at DragonCon, because you're gonna be at DragonCon this year, Joe, because you put in your application for your press badge.
Yeah, that's because I was a good boy finally for
exactly. So you're going to be there, and then Toni's there on, is it Sunday? Which is the Baen? Which is
Saturday? Yeah, Saturday. Yep.
Toni will be there, so you guys can meet up there in person again, and then that's when you have the award for the Baen Awards, and so we can maybe even work it out. Whoever wins the Baen Award can also be a guest on the author's Quill too, to help celebrate their winning story.
That'd be great. We'd love that. Yes.
Yeah. Wait, Chris Nick. What, you mean the mic? I'm not giving the mic away. You're nuts. You know my It's like every time you ask me for my lightsaber, you're not getting that either. Yeah, he's he told me he was going to retire and he wasn't going to do it this year, but I got an email the other day saying he changed his mind and was sending me a list of what he's going to provide in lightsabers this year. He likes to give lightsabers. He usually give away 35 of them, yeah. Every year for the last, since John got me to come up to Salt Lake City. That's where I met him at. I was at Fanex. He was one of the vendors there. I got to talking to one of his people, and she was telling me, she gave me his sword and introduced me to him, and next thing I knew, we had a little deal going. I still can't remember. No, he's a Brit, but his name sounds more like an Arab name. He didn't look like an Arab. His name sounds like. He looks like Scott. Actually, that's his name. Is it? But anyway, we gotta go. We got places to be.
Fireworks.
There's all kind of weird stuff. They're gonna be pretty soon. My dogs will be underneath my bed. or underneath the blankets. But I've taught them now to bark at the fireworks or the thunder, because then they don't get scared of them. They're like, yeah, I'll eat them, Daddy. Yeah, let's kill some fireworks. Well, I used to have a boxer that would catch bottle rockets in her mouth and explode. The crazy dog, and she loved it. The dog was a retard.
Boxers are lovely, but they
Messy.
yeah.
They slimy. Yeah. Y'all ever seen that thing on Ghostbusters? People Slimer. That's what a boxer is. Oh man, boxer will slime you from head to toe. No qualm. They're great dogs, but they can't help themselves. They like the truth. But anyway, we gotta go, guys. We guys want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Office Quill. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, you can always write to Michelle to Rosone, of course, at uprradio.com. She may write back to you if you're polite. If you're not, well, she has a broom that she flies in, so just telling you ahead of time. Just warning you people. No, for real. I'm telling you, y'all just don't see. She's not one of them fakey, which you see one of real ones. No, I'm just kidding. Good night. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy 4th of July. Y'all have a good holiday. And to all my friends who serve with us, thanks for your help. Still glad to be free.